Video games are pretty fun. There are so many genres that can provide a range of different experiences depending on whatever you're really in the mood for. Feel like exploring something new? Maybe try a 3D platformer or a collectathon like Banjo-Kazooie. Feel like taking it easy with something more casual? Pick up one of the Kirby games or a farming sim like Stardew Valley. Feeling competitive? How about a first-person shooter like Counter-Strike or Team Fortress 2? The possibilities are truly endless. But you know what can be even more fun than playing video games? Playing video games with other people. Shocker, right? Some of my fondest gaming experiences come from playing games with other people. Whether it was interacting with strangers on Club Penguin, playing games such as Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 and Skylanders with my brother, or getting pissed playing Mario Party and Smash Bros with my friends. There's something special about playing games with others that you just can't get from playing a game solo. While it may sometimes be more efficient to play a game on your own, it's usually more fun when you have others you're sharing an experience with. A perfect example of this can be found in the game Chained Together, which I recently started playing with my buddy Chris. The game is full of obstacles and traps that are designed in a way to be challenging, but also quite punishing if you mess up. Failing an obstacle could mean losing progress, which ranges from falling to a previous obstacle below you.
Okay, calm down. Go.
Oh, shit! No! Ah! Land on the rock! Ah! Go! Pull me up!
Oh my god.
To landing all the way back at the beginning. There are really two ways you could play this game. Going through on your own is probably the faster, more efficient route. You don't have to worry about the actions and decisions of another person weighing you down. But where's the fun in that? The name of the game is Chained Together. Why wouldn't you want to go at it with another person? I imagine that's part of the intended experience and what makes the game interesting. It's almost like a difficulty slider. Solo is the easiest and 4 people is the hardest. Though I can't imagine what it's like playing through with 4 people. We're over here struggling to reach the first checkpoint with just 2 people. Indeed, playing games with others can make for a good time. But the thing is, not all games inherently have multiplayer. Some games are single player only, which isn't a bad thing. It just means you can't share the experience with someone else, unless you're willing to take turns or sit and watch while someone else plays. But what if I told you there was a way to make some of your favorite single player games multiplayer? I never knew until recently, but there are tons of fan-made mods for various games that are just out there, available to play. And most, if not all, of these projects are being made for free from pure fan devotion, which I think is pretty cool. So I guess it's time to get into the main topic of the video. Today I wanted to showcase 5 interesting multiplayer mods. I use that term loosely, because not all these are exactly mods per se, but I didn't really know how else to categorize them. So without further ado, let's get started. The first subject of today's topic is Starfox EX, a ROM hack by Kondo12. Multiplayer inclusion aside, this is a really interesting hack that adds a ton of new features including new levels, customization features, new bosses, new music, new game modes, and much more. For what it is, it's really impressive. The plot of this hack is pretty interesting as well. Apparently the Mario Bros have decided that the Star Fox franchise no longer has a place within the larger Nintendo universe, and have set out to destroy the Lilat system with the help of characters from other Nintendo franchises. This premise alone sounds pretty cool and has a lot of potential, and there's support for not 2, not 4, but 5 players at once. That's crazy. Imagine playing Star Fox with 4 other people at once. Sounds like it has the potential to get pretty chaotic. Well, I wasn't able to get 4 other people to play this hack with, so I just played through a bit of this with Chris. I'd say our experience with this hack was positive, however we did run into a few technical difficulties. For one, Chris couldn't shoot at all during our playthrough and could only fire bombs. We played this on an emulator over the internet, and he swore he had his controller set up properly, but regardless, we weren't able to figure out the issue. Another thing was that there was a bit of lag in the actual gameplay. I don't know if that was from a lot of objects being on screen at once, or maybe even spotty internet connection, but nonetheless it was still playable, and personally, I had fun playing it. There were a lot of cool things we encountered while playing, including a big Link head named Linktron. We were attacked by a group of Metroids and fought Samus Aran in a morph ball ship. Despite the setbacks we faced, we still had a pretty decent time playing this hack. It was just too bad that Chris couldn't shoot. Kinda stopped us from playing more. All things considered, if you enjoy classic Star Fox on the SNES and wanted more out of it, check out this ROM hack. There's so much great new content that at times this feels more like Star Fox 2 than the actual Star Fox 2. And with that, let's move on to our next topic. So now we're looking at another ROM hack of a classic SNES game, Donkey Kong Country. Specifically, this hack is called Donkey Kong Country 2-Player Proof of Concept, and it's by Aaron Monroe. It does exactly as the name says. It adds simultaneous 2-player co-op into Donkey Kong Country. But as the name implies, this is a proof of concept, not a full release, so there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of bugs in this hack. For one, we couldn't take damage or die, so that immediately destroyed all challenge this game could have posed us. This kind of led to us speedrunning through a lot of the levels, and we ended up making it to the 4th world in about an hour before stopping. Switching characters also did nothing, as we would just stay the same characters. There were also a lot of glitches with the color palette of our characters, especially when we used the animal buddies.
It's about sending a message.
Here's a little.
Rhino.
Here's a
Oh,
rhino.
that's power.
Okay, so
Whoa.
yeah, we're both a rhino, I guess.
That's crazy. You see that? Like I'm all red.
Oh God, it's starting.
I'm in the maze.
I can't jump anymore. Okay, I can jump.
Press another button. Yes.
I'm green now. That's cool. Okay.
We're just changing colors, I guess.
Sometimes one of us would be unable to pick up bananas, but that's not really a huge deal. I think the biggest problem with this hack though is that it sometimes soft locks you when you fall into pits. Other times you'll just respawn and continue like nothing happened.
Like you started like you have an equation on your table, like you're doing like your math.
I just
Fuck.
fell off.
You're
Oh
doing your
no.
math, and he solves the math for you.
Oh no.
Just I think it crashed. Hey, actually,
Can I leave the
maybe
level?
crashed. Like we actually died.
How do you leave the level?
Resetting the console,
Damn it. Okay.
dude. We gotta reset the console.
But you probably need save states if you actually want to beat this version of the game. This is kind of what led to us stopping because I accidentally save stated over the soft lock when going to load a previous save. Alright, there we go.
All right, pal. You went too far with that.
Oh no! Oops, I saved over it. Alright, well, that's the end.
Ah, shit.
That's the end of it,
Funny.
Chris.
Good.
Despite all these glaring flaws, I had a great time playing this hack. It was kind of like playing an easier, more relaxed, buggier version of Donkey Kong Country. I also really enjoyed speedrunning through some of the levels. There was just something satisfying about finishing each level as fast as we could, and that's pretty much it. Compared to Starfox EX, this ROM hack is pretty simple. It does as it says and nothing more, adding 2-player co-op into Donkey Kong Country for better or for worse. Now, I think it's time we move on. Let's continue on with an N64 game now. We'll be looking at Majora's Mask Online next. And if you're wondering why we decided to play Majora's Mask over Ocarina of Time, it's only because I like this game more and I've never played Ocarina of Time, so yeah. I believe this mod was made by 2 users, at least I think so. Their names are the ones that show up on the GitHub page. PSI Hate and Dino Fleon SX. Similar to the Donkey Kong Country hack, this mod doesn't add too much new content aside from the added co-op, however that doesn't quite mean there aren't any new features at all. To play this mod, you have to use a program called ModLoader64, which allows you to add community-made content like player models and other mods such as custom tunic colors, infinite rupees, and health sync among players, just to name a few. For our playthrough, we didn't really use any extra mods besides the basic co-op mod, but we did use some custom player models. I was Metal Sonic and Chris was Butthead from Beavis and Butthead, and I gotta say it was really funny watching Butthead explore the land of Termina. This is fucking Majora's Mask.
This isn't. I don't have hacks. Look, that's my sidekick right there. What are you talking about?
I don't even know what he wanted me to do.
Is there Sonic EX mod?
No. I'm fucking Metal Sonic. Despite being in the same game, the enemies and some NPCs were not synced up for both of us. For example, Chris could be fighting a random monster, and meanwhile I don't see anything except him swinging his sword. This is really a non-issue, and doesn't really affect much in the game besides us not being able to fight monsters together. So overall this mod works pretty well. It's a great co-op mod, however it does at times feel like we're just watching each other play the same game. We played 3 hours of this mod and didn't get very far at all in the grand scheme of things, but we had a great time trying this out, and that's all that really matters. I guess it's time to move on to the next one. The second to last multiplayer mod we'll be looking at is Undertale Together by Depa31. It's another simple mod that adds co-op into the base game, but player 2 does get to choose a different skin for their character and heart color as well. There's also a version of this mod that can make the game playable with up to 4 people. However, the site with the mod says it's quote-unquote very broken. Really wished I could have checked this version out as well, but I couldn't really get anyone else to play this with us, so I just focused on the 2-player version. There really isn't that much for me to say about this one, other than it's another co-op mod that works really well. The combat system was tweaked slightly, so the turns work like this. First player 1 goes, then the enemy, then player 2, and we both have to dodge the enemy attacks at the same time. We played through the entire game once, but we didn't do the true ending or the genocide route. This might be the shortest entry on the list, but there's really not much to discuss here. I just wanted to spotlight a cool mod that we had fun with. I guess let's move on to the final topic. Alright, here we are at the final entry of our list here. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for watching up to this point. Before we get to that final entry, I'm going to need you to hit the like and subscribe button. If we can get this video to 1,000 likes, I'll do a part 2. There were a lot of multiplayer mods that I couldn't fit all in this video, so there's plenty more for me to do another on. If you like this type of content and want to see more, hit that like button. Anyways, that brings us to our final topic of discussion. Super Mario 64 Co-op Deluxe. Essentially, this is an online multiplayer version of the Super Mario 64 PC port that has a lot of new features and modding support. While there have been multiplayer mods of Super Mario 64 in the past, I believe this one runs circles around those that came before it. First of all, the game just looks really good. I don't know if this is because it's based on the PC port or what, but I just think it's Mario 64 looking as good as it ever has. Another thing is that there is so much customizability and extra content in this mod. You can turn friendly fire on or off, adjust the amount of knockback players take, you can choose whether or not you stay or leave a level upon getting a star, there's name tags so you can see the names of other players, similar to how Minecraft's player names work, you can add custom player models, there's an optional day and night cycle, there's a hide and seek game mode, and one of the most important things included is ROM hack support. You could just play the base game of Super Mario 64, sure, but you could also play ROM hacks like Star Road, Super Mario 74, and my personal favorite, B3313. Did I mention as well that there's other characters to choose from besides Mario? In addition to Mario, the base game includes Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and Toad, although I think they all pretty much play the same, though their color palettes are fully customizable, so you can make them whatever colors you want. I remember there was another Super Mario 64 multiplayer mod I used to play called Net 64. It was pretty similar, but I don't think there was as much customizability. However, each character did play slightly different, and there were more characters included in the base game such as Yoshi, Peach, Rosalina, a Goomba, Sonic, Knuckles, and Kirby. I remember the Goomba literally couldn't do anything except kick and dive, so that was pretty funny. I guess it was like an optional hard mode, if you really wanted that. Anyways, that's pretty much everything this mod brings to the table. Chris and I are both big Mario fans, so I think we probably had the most fun playing this project. I highly recommend you try it out. It's free and it's a great way to play Mario 64, especially with friends. Well, that's all I really got for today. We looked at a lot of interesting mods and hacks, and while I think some of them were better than others, one thing in common with each was that they were all made by fans, purely out of passion/devotion to their respective franchises/series, because none of these developers were getting paid to do this. They did this all in their own free time, and I think that's pretty admirable. I guess it just goes to show how passionate some people are about their favorite games and game development in general. And that's pretty much it from me then. I hope you learned something, I hope you found a new multiplayer mod for you and your friends to try out, and other than that, I guess that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more coming soon. You're still alive down there.
Put that at the end of your video.
Yeah.
It's just the black screen with the fucking horse shit.